It's almost time. In under 3 months from now, we're going to know what WoW's next expansion is, and knowing Blizzard, we're probably going to see a repeat of one of their more successful tactics, and that is the double whammy. This year, it may even be a triple. That is, a patch and 2 expansions. Kind of mad. With patch 10.1.7 lined up for September 5th and 10.2 perhaps in early October, we will see where the story is going in 10.3. And that means they, like they did with patch 8.3, can drop a 10.3 announcement right before BlizzCon, get us all talking, and then, because that has been done at BlizzCon properly, they'll be able to talk about the new expansions. First, whatever's coming to Classic, be that Cataclysm or some sort of surprise announcement. We do know they actually have an experimental gameplay team who is working on Classic, so that could be decently big. And of course, that just leaves 11.0. And with that said, here's everything that I think it's going to entail, and what we all think could actually happen. What's definitely going to happen is today's sponsor. Guild Wars 2, the free-to-play MMO that is focused on gameplay over grinding, and their brand new expansion, one that truly changes the game. It's called Secrets of the Obscure, and it launches August 22nd. And with it, ArenaNet have fundamentally changed how Guild Wars 2 works as a game, because they are now on an expansion model of having 4 quarterly releases. So 4 big updates in a year. That is perfect for keeping the game feeling lush and alive. And what's crazy is this comes only a year and a half after End of Dragons shipped. They are on fire with content. Now, in this expansion, they're doing a lot. They're revamping combat with more freed up weapon choices at launch, reworked runes and relics, and then after launch, even more weapon choices. Now, of course, one of the things people love about Guild Wars 2 is their unique approach to mounts and how they make the exploration content unparalleled fun. And this time around, the sky scale's getting love. It has a more streamlined unlock process and a whole new line of masteries. It'll launch August 22nd with a complete solo arc, 2 zones, and you know how deep and interactive a Guild Wars 2 zone is, 2 strike missions, rift hunting encounters which have got tier difficulty and a horde mode, plus a bunch more, and then every few months you'll be getting updates where a second story arc will be playing out alongside new content and a 3rd zone. So it's great seeing them get their content down. You can click the link in the description to pre-purchase now and secure exclusive rewards with the Arcane Spellweaver's hat skin, an Eagle Eye weapon of your choice, and the Demon Hunter title, plus a max level character boost. Big thank you to ArenaNet for sponsoring. Check out the link down below, and let's go. We've been talking about this since vanilla, the South Seas expansion. But why now after all of this time? There's one answer, and that answer is pirates. The key here is the return of the Night Squall. A book found in Dragonflight tells the tale of Dread Admiral Night Squall, a legendary night elf pirate captain said to be gathering a mass of pirates from across the bandit world, including the Bloodsails, the Iron Tides, the Freebooters, and the now slightly more evil-looking Defias Brotherhood. Now, the Night Squall himself is more a thing of legend, but that doesn't mean that these pirates aren't kicking about for a reason. Do you remember the island of Talabheem? Yes, it's a long-running joke, the Banana Island. But actually, it was mentioned by name quite recently. That means a lot of the ancient speculation from back in the day is still game. We've seen a lot of islands be added to WoW, Kazan, Zandalar, Kul Tiras, but there's plenty we haven't been to, like Plunder Isle. Starting life as a Warcraft 3 map, it's only since appeared in the role-playing game. But get this, in the role-playing game, it is the mighty home of the Bloodsail Buccaneers and their pirate captain, Lord Fairvern, who is a Lordaeron noble. Or should I say a former Lordaeron noble. And that means there is an immense potential for storytelling here. Lordaeron politicking, assaulting a pirate base, getting between the Bloodsail and the Blackwater's rivalry. The Bloodsail even have submarines they're saving up for a rainy day. Kinda mad, and useful if we run into any underwater enemies like the Naga. And of course, with Naga showing up in the Forbidden Reach alongside pirates, and their queen due to return soon, I think you can imagine how all this would play out. And that is only one of many islands. We have Talabheem, we have Hiji, we have Bellular, right? Mad. Bellular is a really cool one. It's actually named after the Irish king of the giants, so you can be damn sure we will be applying our lore magnifying glass for that one. The South Seas is actually not the only place we can follow these pirates. We can follow them to store.bellular.games for our games art book and some other goodies that my art team put together. Oh, we can also follow them to the other side of Azeroth. The Night Squall was, allegedly, the first person in the game's lore to make it beyond the Veiled Sea and return. And he sings of treasure so grand he needs the largest pirate fleet ever assembled to haul it back home. What's waiting over there, then? Remember, this is Warcraft. People often don't go for treasure just because it's shiny. They want treasure because it's something crazy, like the heart of an old god, the blood of a demon, a cursed weapon. And also across the sea, seemingly, is the land of AVALOREN. Before the Sundering, a group of anti-Titan heretics committed crimes against one of ANR's keepers, amongst others, and fled. They fled to a land far away from Kalimdor called AVALOREN. And Odin was completely unable to give chase. He tried 3 times to send expeditions after them, and all 3 ended in wreckage, being washed up on his home shores. Their defenses were just too strong. This is all lore we found out at the start of this expansion. It's honestly awesome. I love how it feels. And to me, it sounds like the Veiled Sea is not necessarily a natural phenomenon, rather some sort of defense mechanism by the apparent mortals who rebelled. Or something like that. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's pretty metal, but it opens up so much expansion possibilities. We could get pirate allies across the Veiled Sea, maybe some Naga, which makes sense given their mastery of the sea, and of course imagine what we could find there. Races and peoples from before the Sundering with entirely different cultures, magic beyond our comprehension, and of course a bone to pick with the Titans and their keepers. And the best part is, with how the story's going, that means they could either be allies or enemies. There's even a chance of a hidden 5th old god waiting for us there. Imagine we would have new flora, new fauna, a new land for the Alliance and the Horde to squabble over, like with Pandaria, and everything that might entail. Pirates, Naga, and these new, or perhaps very, very old, heretics, and just everything brand new, fresh, green pastures. I honestly really hope that it is this one. I mean, hey, remember all that stuff Deathwing wrote in the margins of the Old Gods and the Ordering of Azeroth, where he's like, no, there's totally other places, like beyond Kalimdor. That's a lie. Yeah, I want to go there. I think this would be an awesome expansion. Many would consider this to be the most likely, and it's kind of similar to the first 2 ideas, but a whole lot darker. The Void will come to Azeroth. Ashara's return, all juiced up with Void power, is imminent, as is Xal'atath. The Void is making big moves. Xal'atath and Iridikron have cooked up a master plan that'll see Xal'atath perhaps coming to us in her final form instead of a barely alive being trapped in a dagger. Or maybe even worse, Azeroth herself could get corrupted. So imagine purple skyboxes, zones under assault, old enemies to team up with to save the world, and basically everything that happens when trouble comes to us instead of us going to it. Like with Legion, I suppose, but perhaps even more dangerous. There are 2 dormant old gods on the world right now, and both have been showing a few signs of life. Who knows, then, what Cthulhu and Yogg-Saron will do when all hell breaks loose, never mind how many of our own that they could turn to their side, willingly or otherwise. So, a big, void-filled expansion that would be time for Blizzard to finally let loose with the Lovecraft vibes, throwing us into mystic nightmare worlds and maybe giving us a good reason to have dragon riding all across Azeroth so we can fly around those massive continents, fighting off incursions, closing portals, and maybe even diving into some old dungeons and raids like AQ, Ulduar, even Black Fathom Deeps, dealing with all manner of tentacles and mouths. Maybe we'd even get a renown track with either Xal'atath or Ashara, depending on who's helping us kill who, and maybe the Twilight Hammer, or those Void Ethereals like Shadreen, who have been stalking us for years now. There is a lot of opportunity here, a lot of threads that could be pulled together. Ultimately, Old Gods have played major roles in past expansions, but we haven't had an expansion that is outright overtly marketed as being a big Old God one. It could be pretty metal, and of course, how much of this is N'Zoth's plan? And this is where I'm also going to sneak in the 4th expansion concept. I don't think they'll do this in a Void expansion, but there is also all the light stuff going on the Draenor timeline. They could pull Yrel out of that portal any time that they want to, and that could even be our next expansion. It would be Blizzard moving a little too fast in my opinion, but that's really my expansion wildcard idea for today. maybe the Void shows up, but Yrel also shows up to help us fight it, with her eventually becoming the expansion's focus. And that is Idea 4, World of Warcraft Lightbound. I mean, hey, it's bound to happen sooner or later. But that still does seem a long way off. I think it's all Void right now, so let's move on. World of Warcraft Beyond. Okay, there's the crazy, high-budget, and maybe misguided version of the Void attack. It's something they could do. Maybe we go to it. Because not since the Burning Crusade have we had good cosmic exploration. And I mean cosmic as in, you know, out there in space, not slurped into Steve Denuser's wacky nightmare Deathrealm. Recently, the Void has been a bit less Lovecraftian and a bit more cosmic space radiation. Look at the Beacon to Beyond, the voice of the Silent Star. Anshul, whatever the hell that is. All of Sarkarath's abilities are about stars, or the lack of them. Maybe it's the sci-fi fan in me actually just wanting to have Event Horizon in a WoW expansion, who knows, but it's one of those things. This could be metal as fucking awesome, but a bit of me knows, or thinks, or suspects it could be a bad idea compared to staying in Azeroth and keeping players in a place that they're deeply invested. But all the same, a proper spacefaring expansion could be such a good flex, and a good way to get us off the planet for a while. We can always come back to a revamped world. I mean, there are so many worlds out there. We've got the destroyed ruins of Nathraza, what of Zoroth, way back in the day. 5 years ago, 6 maybe, I did a video on all the different planets and worlds that we haven't explored in Warcraft yet. Perhaps that video will finally come due. And also, hey, the Vindicar's there. People would probably enjoy dropping big light-themed ion cannons on a whole bunch of mobs. Which, I mean, Lightforged and I can already do, but you get the point. Now, I don't think we'll be getting dragon riding in space, but hey, maybe a customizable spaceship as a base sounds like a pretty decent idea of a second sort of class order haul. Argus, and maybe even going back to TBC, I mean, they do have blueprints of how to send us into space and to actually make it cool. There also will be a lot out there. The Celestials, like Algalon, dead and dying worlds of all sorts, ethereals, void ethereals, maybe even the Legion, demons who don't realize the war is over, and of course, Elune. She is clearly more than just our moon. Plus, I really want to find out what this Anshul is. Okay, now it's time for the wildest theory yet. This is a wild card. But if it happens, everyone here, we're all going to pretend that we called it. World of Warcraft, the Black Empire. There's a chance we go back in time to the Black Empire. We technically have in a quest. And I don't mean this as a patch, but I mean it as a whole expansion. The Titans have been lying about the Black Empire, right? It's not a bad idea. We've been hearing constantly about it in Dragonflight. Shadowlands was all about sort of the Titans hiding the bigger picture from us. But the team have been thinking about the Black Empire specifically for a long time. At the last full BLIZZCON in 2019, at a Q&A after the Shadowlands reveal, Steve Denuser was asked whether Chronicle is canon, and he answered basically yes, sort of, but it's from the perspective of the Titans. What's key is he gave one specific example, and that was the Black Empire. He said that a lot of other perspectives exist on it, right? And that all we've seen is the Titan perspective. Obviously, this is all perfectly aligned with those messages from Odin we found at the start of this expansion. So, that's been our theme, that the Black Empire was more varied than we know. There's that massive hanging thread about us going back there and showing N'Zoth what timeline he was on. Of course, if you remember in Thaldraszus in the Dragonflight level up experience, yeah, we go back in time, to which N'Zoth kind of looks at us and goes, interesting, this confirms a few things to me. Then, of course, the Infinite Dragonflight, while they do seem to be in the back burner, I mean, just look at the massive fake-out. The dungeon was called Dawn of the Infinite, but actually, we stopped it instead. We're onto you, Blizz. There's a ton of unresolved Infinite things. I mean, hell, imagine this. We arrive in the past and N'Zoth immediately begs for our help. He knows we're going to kill him in the future, but right now, he needs us to survive and we need him. He is at his weakest, right? He's just lost the Battle of Catan that Xal'atath told us about in Legion, right? That's where he is. He is, at his weakest. And if he loses to one of the others, then his brothers will be stronger than ever and might kill us in the future. But of course, he won't. Because he knows that the version of us that travels back in time, that version of us thinks we defeated him. even though that actually might still be part of his plan. You see? So maybe we ally with him, we go against the other 3 old gods, and we learn what Azeroth was actually like back in the day. Okay, that's an absolutely crazy idea, but I suppose it is possible. And that is it for today. I would say then, to you, what do you expect of this BlizzCon? Is it going to be Lightbound, Void-Scarred, Beyond? I am itching for some rich voidy goodness, but to be honest, a big old trip to the South Seas or AVALOREN for some absolute mad hijinks is kind of what I would love to see. Second only to, of course, Yrel busting through the dark portal and trying to, well, convert us all, and us having to fight off the crusade. But it's Yrel. I think that would be really fun. Okay, there you go. Future expansions. Cast your vote down below. Be sure to support our sponsor because they make the show possible, and with that said, I will see you in the next video.
Mm-hmm.